Hello and welcome back to TYG Talks. I'm Scruff. I'm hosting today as Mash is out the staff room. The boys are here to play. I am joined again by our returning guest, Iola.
Hello.
And new to the staff room is DC Bradshaw. Hello there.
Hey there.
Hi there. So today we watched, we returned to our old friend Ralph Bakshi for 1983's Fire and Ice. Right. So we of course visited Ralph Bakshi for the eye-opening Wizards. Again, that was you, Isla, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean that was kind of a weird one, wasn't it?
And so this, yes, the Fire and Ice, a sort of a Conan-inspired, I'm going to say Conan-like inspired fantasy epic, completely original. So, let's try and summarize the plot, shall we?
There was plot? Was I watching a different film?
I know. Right, so...
I think that the plot itself was that there were a couple of different things. We had Lord Necron. Him and his mother wanted to take over the world.
Yes.
We had the other faction as well, that were somehow the good guys, I think. Goodish.
Yes, well, they weren't invading, were they? So they were instantly the good guys.
And they had two armies fighting each other.
Yes.
So it was a basic plot that also turned into a rescue mission because the good guy's daughter had been kidnapped.
Yes.
Does anyone else want?
Many times.
Many times, yes. She was this movie's MacGuffin, who kept getting captured. So the title of Fire and Ice comes from the fact that the good guys live in a volcano. The bad guy, Necron, can summon glacier. It seemed to move in a very suggestive way.
Yes, I think that's the best way of describing it.
I believe that one of our sentiments in this watch through was that it felt like it had been written and directed by a teenager almost. That it was kind of like from a teenager's perspective that had just gone into high fantasy, had maybe played a couple of TTRPGs and was like, yep, I can make a movie now.
Yes.
It was definitely like, what would a 12-year-old boy's idea of cool be? It's like, there's going to be two factions. There's going to be fire versus ice, and there's going to be bad guys, and they've got all these minions and people like that, and they're gonna rescue the girl, but the girl is. How can I do it? How can I do it? How can I do it? Oh, we kidnap her at night, so she's wearing basically no clothes, and despite plenty of opportunities to gather clothes or weapons at any time, she will remain basically naked the entire time, and then occasional bits of swearing, but not big swearing, but really cool swearing.
Yeah, it just felt like
dragons.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just felt like the filmmakers were trying to say, yes, animation can be adult. We're like, yeah, but not like this, please. Not. Let's talk about. Well, I hesitate to call him the protagonist. What was his name? Larn, was it?
Larn. I was taking some notes down during this, and I literally didn't catch his name until about 5 minutes from the end.
I know, because they don't say it. They don't say his name. But I hesitate to call him a protagonist because I was thinking the ideal thing about a protagonist is they move the plot forward. But if you took Larn out of this movie, would anything have changed?
Is that, does Indiana Jones do anything in Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Probably not a lot, to be honest.
Nothing would have changed, would it?
No.
The stuff just happens to him and he just happens to be there.
Yeah, I think that the one protagonist that we thought were kind of like medieval Batman.
Yes.
That was like more my idea of a protagonist.
Yes.
I don't know if
can we take a moment to talk about Batman the Barbarian, who I think it's just magnificent. You get about halfway through this and you see like him dramatically astride his horse on a hill, and when you see him, he's kind of got this Batman cowl, which I think is made of like a wolf pelt or something like that. No trousers, because no one in this entire film has trousers. Everyone is in like leather pants or less. He kind of talks like this, and even though there's not a lot of lip sync in the whole thing, to be honest, he has even less lip sync because he's manly, really manly. And he wields an axe. And at one stage, he goes into a rage, and the entire background turns red.
Yes. Let's talk about his Saiyan rage at the end, which it was able to get over the bad guy's magic for no reason.
Other than being cool.
Okay, I've had to look this up because I don't think they say his name.
Oh, I was about to say this as well. It's amazing.
Yeah, I know. Do you want to say it? Do you want to reveal it?
I think, we talked about the fact this was clearly designed from a mindset of a 12-year-old boy. So if you're going, I want a Batman character, Batman vibes, and he's going to have a really cool Batman-y name, what would you call him? And that's how you come up with, I'm Dark Wolf.
It's fantastic.
I love the name Dark Wolf, man.
Oh my goodness.
That is every 12-year-old boy's first D&D character, isn't it?
That is just, So he's the hero of the story, though he's barely in it. He defeats the bad guy at the end. Necron, of course, can use some form of magic to control people. It's not really explained. Maybe it's some sort of like hydrokinetic thing. Because he's able to control ice, maybe he's able to control water. Maybe. Who knows?
It probably is worth mentioning the fact that the film does start with quite a lot of exposition. Most of it is largely irrelevant, but you have to wonder. I'm torn on this one. Was it we did this and there's cool plot on it, we're just going to put it up front, so again, we don't have to lip sync it or anything like that? Or did someone watch this and go, I have no clue what is going on? Can you just explain it just a little bit at the start?
Actually, that is actually, I believe, a holdover from Wizards, because Wizards did exactly the same. Had the old sketched backdrop story, just exposition up, except with Wizards they did it like 3 or 4 times. This time it was only once. Some beautiful artwork though, with those
that's true.
But actually, researching this, it was actually a collaboration between Bakshi and Frank Frazetta. Now, Frank Frazetta did a lot of the artwork for Conan, which I was saying halfway through. So a lot of these artworks remind me of Conan. You know, the old Conan paintings, the old elaborate sword and swordy painting. It's like, oh, that makes sense. That makes sense now.
Yeah, you can.
Did
you find out if the intro was actually drawn by him? Did they commission him or something?
I believe it was a full-on collaboration between the two of them.
That's cool.
Based on characters co-created by the two of them, Bakshi and Frank Zeta. And of course, an extensive, I'd say almost complete use of rotoscoping, though a lot better than Bakshi's previous outings. I would say 99% of this was rotoscoped.
Oh, do you think that this one was better than the last one? I know that we talked a bit about that. Bakshi also did Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
I think we all have that framework when going into this.
Yeah.
And trying to actually see if they have any if they actually did anything better in this one than the last one.
I think this is leagues better, in all honesty, because even in Lord of the Rings, there was sometimes where it looked like they barely did anything to the rotoscoping.
There's definitely, if you watch Lord of the Rings, you kind of get, I want to say 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, and they clearly just run out of money. Because then they just go rather than just paint over the whole thing, we'll just do them as silhouettes. We'll just do them as black silhouettes on a kind of stylistic background, and that'll do. Yes. Maybe with some red eyes and some white teeth, because clearly they had run out of money. Whereas here, I think pretty consistently the quality was the same. I mean, the one thing I did notice is they take a lot of opportunity, again, to avoid showing anyone's lips when talking, because clearly that's the bit that takes the most time. Oh, and clearly Lan's braid, which is quite magnificent, and every time you see it, it's like, that must have taken ages to draw,
Yes.
and that you couldn't be bothered to do.
There's also
all the
little
other
things
stuff.
like his medallion was like swinging from side to side when he was running. It was like this must have taken ages, like frame by frame doing that. Oof.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk about the. I'm not sure if you guys are, but I definitely got some very, very homoerotic.
I
Undertone.
don't know what you mean.
No. I'm not sure what you're talking about either. No.
I'm just on my own here, am I?
Yeah.
I think it was the when Lan is, I think, right near the start, escaping from the. And we haven't talked about the minions. We should probably talk.
We
about
will
the
talk
minions
about the
at
minions.
some point.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, when he's escaping the minions at the start, he tries to. I can't remember. He was trying to climb a tree
He was climbing a tree, and the guy got shot or something. And in his death throes, he caresses his buttocks.
which gives it a good kind of jiggle as it goes. There was a lot of jiggling in this,
was a lot
to be honest. But yeah,
It wasn't just undertones in this one. It was actually
No.
full out on display.
there were tones.
As we talked about earlier as well, with the mountains erupting.
Yes.
And it felt very, very phallic in a way. But we shouldn't go in too far on that one.
No.
No.
Especially
we
the
can
faces
let-
Necron was pulling at the time as well.
Yeah, I think the starter was like, is he constipated or is he just really enjoying his magic?
Yeah.
I don't know. Either way, the expressions were it was giving us a lot of oomph.
There were a lot of like plots that just went nowhere. They just instantly dropped, weren't there? It's like
The Witch.
The Witch, yeah.
I think got the name, was it Roliel, or at least I think
Something like
that's what
that,
the
yeah.
subtitles certainly said.
The witch had a name.
There was a bit in the middle of this where in Tigra's many kidnappings, they encounter a red-headed witch with her trollish son.
I made a
Great
note of
Otwa.
Captain Caveman. He was
Marvelous. And they're literally in it for about 2 minutes. As in, and she has some mood swings as well. So she kidnaps her, then goes, "You're being hunted by Necron!" And then calms down a bit, sends her son out to try and bargain with the minions, and then gets betrayed, and then killed, and then burnt, and then briefly comes back as a cool skeleton lady, screams, "Avenge me!" And that's it.
That's it. Another one was the peace envoy sent to Necron that was like, "This is only going to go one way. You know this, don't you?"
And there were plenty of those kind of like when they didn't know how to further the plot, so they brought in kind of these NPCs. That was what I got the most like. What I thought about was that it felt like in a tabletop RPG, when you need the plot to go forward, you throw in an NPC,
Yeah.
and then you can see the smoke in the distance, like in this film, and our hero sees the smoke and actually tries to like, okay, I need to go there. So it's kind of like in modern games, for instance, where they have like these small white like trails everywhere that you can follow.
Yeah. And there was also early where they had the squid to break up the party because the party needed breaking up. They both get kidnapped and escape. Get kidnapped, escape. It's like it became like push me pull you sort of thing between who was captured, who wasn't, isn't it? Between Lan and the princess in the ice thing. It's like, oh my goodness. But yeah. Right, let's address this elephant in the room. Let's talk about the minions.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah.
I
I have a feeling they were going to try and go for orcs or something like that.
Yeah.
there were definitely orcish vibes
Yes,
to them.
but
and
they
we were
should have-
talking
They should have
Yeah.
designed them more unhuman.
More outlandish,
more anything else,
Yeah.
to be honest.
because it felt very much like they didn't have any idea really about what they wanted them to be. So they just ended up with something that was more of a travesty than an actual actual thing.
there were three really horrendous crimes, I think, in these Minions, and the fact they managed to have three of them is quite impressive. I think the first one, the fact that, and they don't say this till later on, the fact that what are we going to call them? We could call them orcs, we could call them goblins, we could make up a name. No, we're going to call them the subhumans. That's not good. And then the fact that the designs themselves managed to be quite horrifically racist to two different minority groups. The fact they looked like these horrendous. I mean, I've got to assume, if when you see like awful kind of 1940s stereotypes of, beware the black man or something like that. It's like, oh, I can't believe you've done that. And then also they had in a lot of them like kind of terrible kind of almost yellow peril eyes, and it's like, what? This isn't an accident. This is just like one of the most racist depictions I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, at first I thought these are like a step down from like the Wizard of Oz flying monkeys, and I was like, then it sort of clicks. Oh no, no. This is not cool, guys. No. I mean, it is a... I'm not going to defend it. I'm not going to defend it, but it was a product of the 80s, and they would... They should have made them more orcish or something. They really should have, like, just really, like... Yeah. Gone a bit further, guys. You went a bit too close to the bone there, and that's not aged well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think that was something in line with most of the film as well. And maybe a lot of Bakshi's work, that is very primitive storytelling.
Yes.
And that it's very on-the-nose storytelling.
Yeah.
And that is something that I've seen in both Lord of the Rings and the one that we watched before this.
Wizards, yeah.
Yeah, and Fire and Ice. That it's kind of... it doesn't feel... It feels very rushed. And that is one of the things that... If he had someone else that he had hired, for instance, I think that would have gone a long way in actually creating the vision for it.
It feels like they had this epic, then someone was like, right, you need to fit that into an hour. And like, oh, right, rush through. And,
what I will say is, I mean, there are some bits. There are some bits in this that I think are done incredibly well. I think artistically. Yes. I mean, the backdrops, obviously, sometimes they do kind of jar a little bit with the foreground elements, but often they're done really quite well. I think there were some bits in terms of some stylistic choices where you've got some bits, like there's one bit, I can't remember what it was. I think Tigra was hiding like under some branches or something like that, and with this really stark light-dark contrast on her face.
In the log, you have the light on her face.
And there's a lightning strike later on that's got some really nice flash shadows and stuff like that. And the music, I would have to say, I mean, the music very much... it is a bit repetitive. I'm not going to lie. Clearly, they couldn't pay the composer to do an entire score of 80 minutes. But what we did have, I mean, there were definite kind of Jerry Goldsmith Alien vibes and a bit of kind of New Hope era John Williams in there, I enjoyed the music. It's just a little repetitive.
Yeah. It was like they had the one track they're really proud of. And while it suited an opening, it didn't suit like a major battle theme as they were flying in.
Something that I actually also listened for was that they used different parts of the score and had broken it down into different parts. Yeah. Which means they could use the same score but use different parts of the ensemble as well. Which means that they could divide it up. And as you guys also pointed out, that they could get away with not having an 80-minute score that they needed to pay him with. Yeah. So they just composited that as well. So I think that is in line with the rest of the movie as well.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
A little side note, but something that I picked up on.
So let's talk about there wasn't really any major voice talent here, was there? There was no no recognizable names. I'm just looking for the cast list now, and it's the fact almost everyone has two actors because one did the performance, one did the actor.
It is interesting that is not consistent. That's, I mean, maybe it's they just wanted their principles. It's like, well, actually, they're a good voice, but we need someone who is,
we need the beefcake.
essentially a gladiator.
Yes,
in order to do this.
We need the busty model to lounge about on the sofa and do all those leg movements and.
Now, I would say maybe this gentleman is very famous. I assume he is. But I'm looking down this cast list on the Wikipedia article, and I've got to the character of Monga, whose performance model and voice actor is a gentleman called Big Yank.
Who was Monga?
I have no idea.
I'm assuming one of the subhumans.
Yes, I'm assuming, yes, exactly that, unfortunately.
Big Yank, what a name!
Yank by name, Yank by reputation.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about the artwork? Since it was a collaboration between like the father of fantasy drawing, fantasy depiction, did that in any way was that apparent in the movie in any way?
I had to say, as I was watching it, I was like, this really reminds me of some of those Conan covers. I was like, wow, yeah, some of the characters and some of the backgrounds, were reminding me of that, and I was like, apparent. And then when I found out, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
There were definitely some bits that felt like kind of like double page spreads, from a comic book.
Yeah.
You get to the middle and go, oh wow, that is fantastic. I mean, I think it's almost ludicrous to try and compare the two. But when you, for people who've seen any of kind of Denis Villeneuve's works, obviously the two Dunes and Blade Runner 2049, the vistas you see in that, you could take almost any frame of any of those films and you would happily have them on canvas on your wall. And there were definite elements in this where they're like, look, we're just going to let's just have 30 seconds to show off a really lovely piece of artwork.
Yes.
And then we'll carry on with the plot.
Yeah, I'm just literally going down the Wikipedia, and I've just seen a quote from what someone else's review. It's like, if you love comic books but can't bear the necessity of turning pages, Fire Ice may be for you. It would help if you were a sex-obsessed 12-year-old boy, but isn't essential. It's like, that's perfect. That's exactly it.
Yep. I also like the kind of some of the one-liners in this movie as well. There was one that actually ended the movie that was just like, we have to start over. And then it was like, what is this, a Disney movie? What's going on here?
Yeah, there's no moral to this story. Wait.
The only quotation I wrote down was when Necron, who, yes, in almost a Donald Duckish fashion, also chose not to wear any trousers, but was aware of clothing for his top half.
Yes.
But yes, he at one stage went, "Woman, I spit on peace. I spit on you." Shakespeare, I swear. It is.
It's clothing reserved for the royalty or something in this world, because nobody wore anything.
Nope.
And a lot of buttocks.
Yes.
Well,
and yes, and there was a scene near the start where Tigro was for a long time in water, and I think they enjoyed rotoscoping those scenes, I would guess.
Oh, I believe they enjoyed the rotoscoping a lot of scenes. So yeah, that was 1983's Fire and Ice from Ralph Bakshi. Now comes to the question that is often hard to answer: would you recommend it?
For a late night, if you had a beer or two.
I think that is definitely the requirement. Yeah.
It's a movie where you can, if it's late at night and you need something to watch, then it's a good movie. It's. I don't know if I would recommend this one.
Would you watch it again, though?
In the comfort of my own home, maybe.
Yeah, I think there's the thing. I mean, with a lot of what I would consider to be kind of cheesy or bad movies, there is definitely a joy to the collaborative watch of them. It's like, well, we'll have a couple of drinks and we'll all enjoy the kind of almost the throwing the popcorn at the screen moment, as very much we did tonight while watching this. But there are definitely elements in this. It's like, I would not feel comfortable watching this with other people in the room. This is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, Bradshaw, I liked something that you came up with as well. Cold comes from Necron, warmth comes from blank.
Oh, I've just realised I didn't mention one truly joyous bit in this. During one of the many kidnappings, Tigra was kidnapped by the subhumans. And then suddenly, out of the water, a giant lizard-like dinosaur emerged, nommed them all, almost gave a wink to camera, and disappeared again. And I do believe, and hopefully we can include a frame of this, that was the actual manifestation of Seribot and what Seri the good boy does whenever there is badness afoot.
Yes, good bot. Good bot.
That was yes. Oh. Well, that has been Ralph Bakshi's Fire and Ice. Thank you for joining me, Isla. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitch, where it's just twitch.com/ILR, and that's about it.
And DC Bradshaw, where can we find you? And thank you for joining us.
That's quite all right. I had a great time. You can find me on Twitch and YouTube at DC Bradshaw, and you can find me on Blue Sky at dcbradshaw.com.
I have been your host, Scruff. You can find me on Twitch, and you can find my work on the TYG YouTube channel. If you have enjoyed this, please like, comments. Have you seen Ralph Bakshi's Fire and Ice? If you have to, please leave us a comment. Please check out some of our other shows. And again, thank you to our guests, ILR and DC Bradshaw. And we will be back with something else. Until then, guys, thank you very much. And we'll catch you again. Love you, bye!
Bye.
Bye.